Hello! Alright, so we're now officially on day 2 of working on my boots. I ended up putting like this little putty in here. I don't think that was a really good idea. I don't think it'll hold because it's not very flexible, so that wasn't a very good idea. But I'm gonna try sanding it down and see what happens. Maybe I can add some kind of flexible seal over it, but I don't know if that'll actually work out. So we'll work on that for now. Otherwise, I'm gonna work on developing the boot cover that's gonna go over it today. And then it's gonna be a waiting game on my fabric because I'm still waiting for it to come in by mail. So we'll just try to get as much done as possible. All right, let's get started. Okay, so my boot that I got was way too high. Like it went literally above my knee, which was way too high. So I initially drawn a line. It was still too high. So now I think I have a height that I'm quite satisfied with. So I'm just gonna draw in my line. Okay, see, that's really weird because it seems uneven, but I drew it straight on me, so I know this looks how I want it to look. Yeah, this boot also has 2 zippers. I guess it's for people with really big calves. Like essentially you can make it bigger. I don't need that, so I might cut out the extra, but I'll leave the zipper there. You won't see it ultimately. When we're gonna cut though, we're gonna be careful to cut, to bring those down and then cut, because we don't want to lose our zipper. This one especially is important if you want to be able to get in and out of the boot. So when we're gonna cut them while they're down, and we're gonna come and put in a little zipper stopper on these 2. Yeah, or maybe I'll remove the zipper for this one completely and just kind of sew it down because I really don't need this one. Okay, time to do more boot covers. This is the tricky part because obviously on the original one there's like no seams whatsoever, which is impossible, like absolutely unequivocally impossible. So let's just, so I think I'm gonna make this about like this. This is gonna be like my seam where the poofy part falls over. So this will need to be nice and tight. We'll make a seam at the back because that's an easy one to have right here. Okay. But you can't have this in one piece. But what we can do is just try to maybe not have one big seam in the middle. Because remember, the fabric I'm using ultimately is really stretchy. So it'll pluck around. Like it doesn't need to be a perfect fit, but it needs to be close enough that, you know, you get that shape. So maybe I can put one dart here and one dart here. Okay. So I think I'm gonna add a line here. Okay, so I'm bringing my seam allowance up. And I think this I'm gonna put a bit higher. The idea is you have to cover the boot, but you have to keep in mind that you'll need to get your feet in and out of the boot. To do that, you need to be able to essentially have access to the zipper that goes all the way down here, which is the tricky part, to be honest, but it's doable. Okay, it looks a little like garbage, but essentially this is what we want. So let's draw out. Okay, it's really like a mock-up. We're gonna essentially take it off and try to flatten it and see where we want to put our seam lines and whatnot. It's work. It's a lot of work. Maybe I'll make this available online so you can download it and then you can use it, because I can understand why you would be a little bit, I don't know, intimidated, I suppose. And I think I'm gonna have to put darts at the bottom or something, but it doesn't look good. How to do. All right, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'll be back later.
1 hour later. Hours later. 3 hours later. 6 hours later.
Okay, so I just wanted to do like a quick update of what I've done so far, because I went ahead and did a lot of stuff off camera just because I wanted to kind of get the base shoe ready to go. So the first thing I did that I can like easily point out is that I removed the zipper and I put in another one. So the reason I want this one is because once this gets covered up to here, because the fabric we're using is stretchy, this doesn't need any kind of closure. It'll close in, but when you try to slide the foot in, because it's a stretchy fabric, it'll naturally stretch. So I'll be able to slip in my feet, no problem. But I still need this part to be able to open and close down so it stays snug on my leg. So I just went ahead and put a zipper that has a removable closure at the bottom. You can put it in and out. And I know it doesn't go all the way up. That's okay, because we'll have this area essentially also covered with the boot cover, and it'll also be stretchy, so it'll keep your calf real comfy. And this whole area, essentially I sewed by hand, so I just took a needle and went in by hand. It's quite tedious. It's a little long, but it's easier than using the sewing machine, I find, because my sewing machine doesn't sew quite well through this kind of thickness. And also it's just an uncomfortable angle to go in with the machine, but it might be doable if you want to. I also went ahead and sewed shut this area also by hand, and I went ahead and undid this part. So I need this little opening for the boot cover later, because I have this little opening with my design. And the other thing that I did for my boot specifically, I thought the cap was too wide. So I went ahead and kind of undid this part, unsewed the back, and then overlapped it one over the other. So if I like open this up, you can kind of see where I sewed them, like they're kind of overlapped. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. So that's what I did so far. I do have my patterns all ready to go. So I went ahead and cut out all the pieces I need. So I have this big piece here that goes kind of over this part. I have my darts at the bottom, so my darts essentially allow it to get this nice kind of poofy shape that's gonna drape over the bottom part. This is my foot cover, just gonna go over like this. It's not glued on yet, I'm gonna glue that on later. And then I have my facing, which goes up here like this, and then this part in the lighter kind of beige, which kind of drapes on top, so like kind of like this. You can kind of see what we're doing. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Hopefully this will be helpful to all Link cosplayers out there. Once again, the link to the patterns for this project is available for free online. If you'd like the patterns and the blueprints for the rest of the costume, they are available on our Etsy store. If you like this kind of content, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of all upcoming videos. We also share a lot of work in progress on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So until next time, good luck with your projects.